Get ready for an unfiltered dose of reality straight from the streets. Introducing the Ask a Cop podcast on YouTube. Join Daryll Triplett, a seasoned 30-year vet, as he dives deep into law enforcement. He's here to break down barriers and answer your burning questions. Curious? Visit askacop.live. Ask a Cop every Thursday at 8 p.m. Subscribe now at askacop.live. It's time to Ask a Cop.
And hello, everybody. We are back with another episode of Ask a Cop.live. You'll notice I've got a little bit of a different background in front of me. I'm performing in another room of the studio, actually. But nonetheless, I am still here live and I am still here with you. Again, as always, I want to thank you so very much for tuning in with us on the Ask a Cop show. This show is designed to specifically answer questions about what you have, and we're going to hear what you have about cops to be answered by a cop. So a couple of things I want to tell y'all and keep you guys up to speed on some stuff here. So a little bit of interesting news here. You know, I always keep it real. I always keep it 100 with you guys. Jessica Rivera is no longer with us. She just up and said that she could not do the show. And no problem. We respect that. And we'll continue on with it. We love her very much and glad the time that she has served with us. But I'm very, very keen on one person doesn't stop the show and we keep going on. And we're going to tackle this thing when it comes to bridging the gap between cops and the community, no matter who or what. So, you know, one thing, like I said, I've always been very transparent with you guys. I will continue to always be very transparent with you guys when it comes to stuff like that. But I've had an interesting week because, you know, I've been dealing with some administrative stuff, part of with, you know, reformatting and stuff like that with the show. And then the other part, just bringing on other networks who may be possibly interested in airing our show, because who would have thought that all these episodes we've done, we've answered so many questions, we've done so much together that some of these networks, you know, OTT networks are starting to take a look at what we are doing and saying, wow, that's a pretty interesting idea. So some of them have reached out to me. I reached out to a few of them and said, you know, hey, how about have us on your platform? And that was one of the things that that we're in the process of discussing as we're talking right now. But yeah, Jessica's no longer with us. A very good person. Sad to see her go, but the show will go on, as we always say, like in show business, right? The show must go on. So we have a very interesting story and a talking point today. As you can see under me, it says, youth gun violence at graduations and prom after parties. I chose that because of some of the recent situations that's been going on. And I sit back after the show last week and said, you know, it's a dang on shame that in our youth that these kids cannot enjoy themselves for lack of somebody pulling out a gun and shooting at one of these graduations, proms, or after parties. It's just a shame. And most of these is what you will see from the numbers will be youth doing this. It's not nothing that I'm making up. It's the straight numbers, just like they are. It's the youth. And remember, we talk fair, we talk firm, we talk respectful, and we also tell the truth when it comes to stuff like this. So youth gun violence at graduations and proms, after parties on the Ask a Cop.live show. I want you to like, I want you to share this link with other people. I want you to sit back and relax. You got me for an hour, as usual. I'm just in another location of the studio, but you got me for a full hour of my undivided attention. We prepared a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show for you today. I hope you guys enjoy it. and I'm just looking at really keeping this thing going on, because you know what, this is what you guys say you want. And as long as you guys want it, I'm going to be here talking just like this. Nothing's going to change whatsoever. I'm going to be here for you because I know you're going to be here for me no matter what happens. I was telling the producers that I think I'm good on co-host right now, though. You know, we've been through two of them already, and Jeff is definitely still my buddy. I just spoke to him today on the phone. The baby is doing wonderful. He's doing great. Everything's going really, really, really well for him. So I wish nothing but the best for him. I wish nothing but the best for Jessica, and Godspeed to both of them. So as usual, you know, it's going to be this time of the show where we pay tribute to fallen officers, something that we hate to do, but it's a reality in this world. And it's crazy because, you know, you sit back and you hear people say, F the police so much, to where, to me, it almost becomes numb to the ears of when someone says F the police. But the level of disrespect that shows, because see, everybody says F the police while everything is good. You don't have no drama, no problems, and you and just your homeboys are sitting around chopping it up, and you may talk plenty of crap. F the police this, F the police that. Yeah, everything is good, fine and dandy then. But I tell you what, let something go left to center, let you be involved in a horrible accident, heaven forbid, or something traumatic happens to you, and I guarantee you it won't be F the police. It will be where the F is the police. So, you know, when we pay tribute to these fallen officers, remember I heard this from the chief of police in Columbus, Ohio. If she's ever watching, I'm giving you a shout out, Chief Brian. She said something when I met with her a few weeks ago that is so true. Behind every badge, there's a heart. So people, what I want to do right now is I want to take 1 minute of silence, and I want to go and pay respect to these officers who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Okay? Okay, and we're back from that. I hate doing that. But you know, to me, like I said, folks, it's so important to pay tribute to our fallen heroes, because these guys are nothing short hero. I talked about this last week about how it talks about that biblically in the Bible, someone who gives their life for their fellow man. So we will always pay tribute to our fallen heroes. We will always pay tribute to those who made the actual sacrifice of life. Because remember, behind every badge, there is a heart. there is a family, there is a wife, there's a child, there's a loved one, someone loved that person, and they're out there trying to do the best thing in a job that's always trying to knock you down. So, it's just very, very, very important that we keep that in the forefront of our mind when we're dealing with things like this. And even when we're talking about, youth violence and stuff like that, I got a lot of flack on the last show from people saying that I should have did something when the teachers and the principal called me to a scene about a kid that was out of control and was throwing things and cussing the teacher out, calling her all types of B's and stuff like that. and my thing is that, let's just say I wanted to do something about it, right? Let's just say I wanted to do something about it. I can tell you right now, wholeheartedly, that there is absolutely positively, there's nothing that I could have done, because juvenile would not have let us do anything, right? So we would have still had to go through juvenile to seek out a warrant on this child for cussing when they got kids her age, 14, 15 years old, committing murders and stuff like that. That's very low on the list. So yes, I hear you when you say that there's something more that I can do. And to the naked eye, maybe. But I'm telling you right now, there's nothing more that you can do on anything like that. Because first off, juvenile's not going to take them. So even if I go through the whole rigmarole of wrestling and tussling with this child, getting her in custody and all this other good stuff, there's absolutely positively nothing that juvenile would not have taken out a warrant on her for simply cussing and throwing a chair. They just have too many bigger fish to fry. So yes, I hear you people when you say, we should have did this, we should have did that, and this, that, and the other. I get it. But at the end of the day, juvenile intake still has to take them, and that wasn't happening. Okay, by anybody's stretch of the imagination, it just wasn't happening. So it is what it is, and it sucks. We frustrated with it. I've had other people that said that, hey, on other different calls, kids say, hey, I'm going to kill my mama, stuff like that. And juvenile barely took them for that. I literally had to call up to juvenile and say, listen, this young lady is threatening to kill her grandmother. If this happens, I'm letting you know, I'm body recording this right now on my body camera. And this is going to be readily available to the news that RYDC rejected our request to have this kid locked up. And that was on a kid, a 15-year-old kid, female, who threatened her grandmother to kill her. Seriously. And I don't know where mom and dad was in the picture. Obviously wasn't in the picture at all. But this grandmother raising this little girl, simply trying to do the best that she can on a fixed income, is now being threatened to be killed by this kid. It's ridiculous. So, we have a good show lined up, like I said, good people. And everybody share the live, share the link. I appreciate you guys. We have a hot show lined up for you. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back with a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest in the house. And as soon as we come back from this quick commercial break, we're going to bring on our special guest to talk about youth violence.
With over 50 years of experience and a perfected 100% American-made manufacturing process, Tallman Pools sets the standard for excellence in fiberglass pools, spas, and tanning ledges. That's right, our pools aren't just pools, they're works of art, meticulously crafted to bring beauty, relaxation, and endless enjoyment to your backyard. And when it comes to quality, Tallman Pools doesn't cut corners. Ready to take the plunge? Contact Tallman Pools today at 770-478-2257 or shoot us an email at contactus@tallmanpools.com. Visit us at 8993 Tara Boulevard, Jonesboro, Georgia 30236. Tallman Pools, where luxury meets craftsmanship.
Excellent. I can't hear any audio.
Hello everyone, but I cannot hear the host or the co-host.
Yeah, I had
A
that
second.
problem a few minutes ago myself.
Okay, here we go. I'm sorry, I have to unmute myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Can y'all hear me
Yes,
now?
sir. Can hear you.
I can hear you. Okay, got Dave Simon, and I've got hey Aziz, how are you, my friend? I've got three of my favorite people right here. So I got Dave
How are
Simon.
you doing
Now,
today?
What's up,
pretty
guys?
good, buddy. Now, you guys, this is a treat right here, okay?
My
Because
God.
this is the dude. DJ is behind the scenes. This
There you
is
go.
the dude that controls everything behind the scenes. So it is a treat to finally get his face on here. I had to kick and scream, David, to get him on here, but he finally
He
did
did
it.
My
I did.
God.
I had to kick and scream to get him on here. I was like, just come on, you're fine. I said, you know just about
Thanks for
everybody on
gracing
here.
us with your presence, DJ.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I was surprised that I got myself on here. I usually never show myself on camera, but anything for my dad.
There you go.
Well, I'm glad to have you on. I'm really glad to have you on, son. And like I said, we have a very interesting topic today I want to talk to you about. And I'm glad you're on because, well, you're much younger than David and I. Well, let's
Yeah.
say this. You're much younger than me. You're much, 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 much younger than David.
Oh, yes. So it'll be a fresh set of eyes on the type of subjects that you will be throwing at me, but I will come unfiltered in the way how I feel.
There you go.
Absolutely. And that's just the way we do it. We'll be, respectful because we're trying to go to a network, but we're going to be candid and we're going to talk the truth about, what is going on and how we feel about it. And that's what to be expected. Dave, how you been, man?
Not too bad. Just working hard, trying to move.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
You know
moving
how
from
you know
mansion to
how it is
mansion
in the
is always
summer.
difficult, I
There you go. There you go.
hear.
So what you been up to, DJ? Haven't seen you in a while.
It has been a little minute. I am so sorry about that. Been really busy, just trying to fix up my life and stuff. Just hanging out with my family, just day-to-day stuff.
Okay.
Great. Nice to
None
see you.
too stuff.
Good, yeah.
Well, it's very interesting. Like I said, I thank everybody for joining on here, and everybody like and share the live. Today's topic is going to be about youth violence at
Mhm.
graduation and proms and after parties.
I
Okay, so
know
we
we're gonna
talked
get
about
something
this
here.
a little bit on a couple of the other shows, but I have some very interesting topics that I want to run by you guys. And if you need me to stop them or something like that, please let me know, and we can always, stop it and see where it goes from here. But first, I pulled a news clip I want to show everybody, and we'll go ahead and get started with that.
Teens forced to
So here we
trade
go.
prom dresses and tuxedos for hospital gowns after 9 were shot at a prom night after party.
Was supposed to be the most wonderful night of these kids' lives, greatly affected them. And it'll be something they never forget, and, unfortunately not in a positive way.
The victims, ages 15 to 19, are all expected to survive, the sheriff says. Officials say 3 remain hospitalized. Investigators say around 250 teens were at a Saturday night party in Jasper, Texas, when chaos erupted.
I seen the pop, it makes a bright light, and I seen it popped and I fell.
Jasper High School senior Madeline Collins hit the floor as gunshots rang out.
First off, I would never have 250 teens in one location. You can't control that. You can't control that.
Rang
That
out.
was a mistake
Then
number one
she
right
heard
there.
the cries of her cousin.
She was on the ground with a gunshot wound, and all I could hear was her screaming my name and saying, "Maddie, please help, help, help."
No arrests have been made, but police are interviewing persons of interest. They say cars seen at the party were involved in a shooting later that night, and the two incidents may be connected.
So as if that isn't bad to go and shoot up a graduation party, later on that day, that night, they went and did another retaliatory shooting somewhere else. That's the reason why I'll never have 250 kids ever at any
This
location
just the latest
that I'm
incident.
in charge of. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's an uncontrollable situation.
You can't control barely
No.
1 or 10 of them, let alone 250 of them. I don't know what the parents are thinking. That's irresponsible parenting to me, with no security and stuff like that. And you know how these kids are in today's society.
True.
I mean, there's no security there, no nothing. I mean, that's irresponsible parenting, if you ask me. But
Of
that's
bullets
just my
shattering
opinion.
the innocence of a high school rite of passage. A new poll out today finds nearly half of young Americans have felt unsafe in the past month, and 40% worry they'll be a victim of gun violence.
Oh my God.
The violence in Texas erupted exactly 1 week after a shooting at a Sweet 16 birthday party in Alabama left 4 dead and dozens injured. 6 people have now been arrested and charged with reckless murder. Today, the birthday girl's brother, 18-year-old Philstavius Dowdell, was laid to rest. His sister and mother still grappling with their loss.
Why would they come there to a lazy Sweet 16 and run a party and give her memories around her birthday that we will never forget? Her birthday on the 14th and Phil got killed on the 15th. That's going to be very hard.
Back in Texas, some teens nearly caught in the crossfire.
I'm lucky. I'm like really lucky. And the people who got shot but still is alive is very lucky.
So let me ask you a question. Dave, what do you feel about this? And DJ, I'll come around to you next.
Gotcha.
An uncontrollable situation as that house party. The parents ought to be blamed and held responsible for whatever happened. Because I would never have that many teens in my house at the same time, knowing teenagers today.
Mm-hmm. You know, you would think that, you know, it's a graduation party. It's going to be memories for forever for this kid that's graduating. And you should be able to have something for your kid. DJ, you're a young adult. What do you think?
Forget what the parents had done. This is seriously uncontrollable. People just came to just wanting to kill kids for whatever reason. I'm like, just justice for these kids. Find these people, lock them, get rid of these scumbags of people. My God, I am tired of hearing this about this stuff.
Well,
I cannot express my frustration when I hear about stuff like this.
You know, but as a teen, you've been to a party before.
Never in my life.
You've never been to
never in my life.
You have been to a party before.
No, never in my life.
Well, it's been family there, but you've been to a party though.
I guess when you put it that way, yeah.
But never have we ever thought that someone would pull
just
out
come and shoot up. Yeah, just kill people for whatever reason.
Right. And it's like, tell me what these young people are thinking, DJ, when they're that young, you know, because me and Dave's old school, you know, back in our day, we would fight, we'd go get dusty.
Fist fight.
You fist fight and you call some names, you talk plenty of crap, but everybody lived for the next day.
Yeah.
But nowadays, no, people just so fast to take out a gun just to end a life for whatever reason. I can't get behind or understand it.
But it's the quick fix.
Yeah.
And most young folks today look for the quick fix.
Yes, that's true.
But you got to realize that quick fix, you got 4 dead and 6 arrested in Texas, and a split second worth of thinking.
The only thing the kids can feel is fear. Like, they wouldn't expect it like this stuff would happen. They was coming for a good time, not a time that ends their life.
And that's what I'm saying. That how do we? And I guess we'll get into this a little bit after this here, but it's something that Dave and I have talked about for a little bit of how do we fix this situation, and it's part of our building the bridge between the cops and the community, and in our outreach to youth also. But I guess we'll finish watching the clip.
Live. Still, investigators are interviewing persons of interest, but still asking the public to come forward with information. What exactly are they looking for?
Yeah, Tom, the sheriff's office tells me that they're looking for anyone who may have photo or videos from the actual party or from the aftermath of that shooting to come forward with that information. They say that the investigation has been very active today, and they are hoping to hold a press conference tomorrow to announce new developments in the case.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. Hey, we got about 2,500 live streams going on. How's everybody doing? We appreciate you guys. Like and share and subscribe to the channel at Ask a Cop Live. Subscribe to our channel. We love having you guys on. We want you guys to know every single time that we go on live. So, DJ, you were saying about the video. You were saying that, what are these? First off, let me ask you this here, a little bit out of subject here. And Dave, I'll chime in with you too.
Okay.
Gun control. What do you think, DJ?
When it comes to kids, dude, they're not even supposed to be owning guns anyways. Some people have mental illness to where they could just kill anybody just because they're upset. Some people just get way too angry. Their control is just way out of control, man. I really am against kids owning guns.
Well, in the state of Georgia, so someone asked, let me see if I can bring this up because DJ usually does this. I don't know how to do it. Someone said, can you do it on your end?
I don't think I can. Let me check.
Okay.
Which one are you going for?
Yeah, I don't know. Tabola says, what is really going on? So we're discussing gun violence that particularly happen at graduations, after parties, and stuff like that. Why they continue to happen? Who's responsible for it? Is the parents responsible for it? Is the teenagers responsible for it? And what happens to it? I have, hey Gallagher, how you doing, brother? Good to have you back with us. Jessica's no longer with us for you guys that are joining in. We talked about that at the beginning of the front of the show there. She just had other things going on, couldn't do it. But nonetheless, we're going to still bring you guys great shows. And thank you, Gallagher. We love the show on.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dave, what's your thoughts? And everybody online, what are your thoughts also about why do youth violence keep happening, particularly at graduation parties, proms, and after parties? And is the parents responsible for this stuff? And how do we stop it?
Well, when the Second Amendment was drafted, the cat was out the bag. Guns, they're very easy. It's an easy instrument, especially for a teenager, because they don't have time to wait. And especially nowadays when technology and speed of doing things, it's easy for them to say, look, I don't need to deal with this. Pow, pow. And that's it. Back in the day, you didn't even want to hear the repeat of a gun. You didn't want to hear that bam. You'd prefer to fight.
That's right.
Thank God silencers are out, illegal. Because if silencers were legal, then they wouldn't have to hear that noise, and they could get away with a lot more.
Well, and like in Georgia, I can specifically talk about Georgia And hey, how you doing? How you doing? I can specifically talk about Georgia. Is that you have a right to bear arms now, concealed or in the open.
Mm-hmm.
The governor did that a few years ago. And at first, I thought it was, because, in Georgia, people get robbed like and home invaded like it's nothing. People get robbed and home invaded like it's nothing here. You're sitting at your house, your door gets kicked in, someone comes in, 4 guys come in and rob you and your family, and it's nothing, right? We can't get there. The police can't get there in enough time. So
True.
I thought that it initially was a good idea so that people could bear arms, especially, you're at a light, someone walks up, they carjack you, stuff like that. I thought it was a great idea. I was like, because then people can defend themselves and be able to at least fight back. The problem is that when you have no restrictions on it and you put guns in the hands of everyone, mentally unstable, domestic situations, road rage situations, family gatherings where you're drinking, things like that. It's like David said, it becomes an easy fix.
Yes.
Of that, I don't even have to fight. I'll just shoot you. But the thing is, it's sort of like suicide. It's a permanent problem to a temporary solution because you're not going to be mad at this person.
Right.
Hey, Bacan, you're not going to be mad at this person for forever, right? So we've got to learn. And I don't know how we get it through our youth's head that a gun is not the answer.
And that's where the problem bestowed around the parents or school. That's what I'm with. Yes.
I think it's a combination of trying to teach young kids from kindergarten the value of life. Also, you got to teach them the other guy might be faster than you. So maybe we should bring back the Matt Dillon mentality, where that guy across the bar, he's not sure whether or not the other guy's a faster draw. So he's going to be hesitant to pull that gun. But because, we've evolved and grown and, got modernized and industrialized, we don't think of that type of mentality. But I think back in the day, I think a person would be very, very cautious because they don't know whether or not the other guy is going to kill them, even though they were going to go there to
Well,
try. And so it's a mentality thing, and we got to teach the kids from kindergarten the value of law enforcement, the value of community, the value of each other's life, and drum it into them as part of a curriculum, not just the ABCs and geography and Spanish and whatever. That's got to be subject.
How do we do that? And some of us parents are just as ignorant as some of these kids out here, because these kids are learning from what they see, right?
Yes, 100%.
So
the teacher in the school has to be part of a curriculum. That's just my thought, my theory. If it's not part of what you learn, just like you go to school and learn geography, you never forget what you learned in school. You'll think twice about attacking, Aunt B or, somebody, your teacher, because you respect what they have taught.
Well, I think that respect has gone out the window when it comes to these kids. I hear everybody saying that. Talk about Dr. Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, all of the Harriet Tubman, all of the regulars. And I honestly believe that these kids today probably don't even care. I know they don't even care. They don't even, they barely know anything about Dr. Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, stuff like that. They barely know or care, if you just want to be frank about it, or care about it. So when you're telling them to have respect, I don't know. Go ahead.
All right. The entertainment industry also has a lot of burden and a lot of blame for certain things. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression, your First Amendment right, but it also has a negative side. And that negative side could impact an impressionable child, teenager, young adult.
Well, I think what we're going to get into on the slides a little bit here, and we'll run through the slides a little bit, but that's why I think it's so important of this show, because if we're not diving into the issues, and I've had people write in and tell me face to face, man, I watch your show every Thursday. I get my kids and we sit around the computer or the television and we watch and we watch your show. And it's interesting to see it from a police officer standpoint of what you can do, what you can't do. And when we're talking about youth violence, it's just so important, because maybe, just maybe from our show, we get a youth to stop and say before they pull out a gun, you know what, this ain't worth it. It ain't worth it, because I'm going to make a life decision right here for 2 seconds. But I want to show you something, the power of our show right here. So I didn't even notice until I got this email here. If you don't believe it or not, we have had, since we started this show, I think we've been doing the show for 6 months, something like that.
Yeah, I'll say 6 months.
Yeah, we've had over 90,000 views so far on this show. And as you can see, that is as of May 18th, 2025. We've had over 90,000 views so far on this show. And I think that says something, folks. I really believe that says something. It says something that we are making an impact. We are reaching people. And that says a whole lot for me. So be sure, please like the channel, guys. It takes you nothing but a few seconds to click on the YouTube channel and like it. Subscribe to it so you get our alerts when we go on. It's very important that we keep this message alive. Okay,
and
so
to refer this to any of your friends, because the more people, you can see more of this beautiful face over here.
I don't know. He's got to be talking about my beautiful face there.
It must be. I thought both you guys
we were talking about you. We were talking about you, Dave. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be interesting here. Okay, so when we're talking about youth violence here, I'll run the slides here today, DJ. So we're talking about youth violence at graduations and at proms. And can you guys see the projections pretty good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Youth violence at graduations and proms after parties in the U.S. And we're looking at 2024 to 2025. We're only talking about a year here. These analysts are only for a year. Okay. Analysts of incidents, impact, and legal implications here. Okay. Youth violence at graduations, gun violence overview. The highest in significance of graduations and proms after parties as celebratory events for youth. Now, we all agree that these young people, I'm the one that says, listen, as an officer, it's not my job to babysit your kids. It's not my job to entertain your kids. It's my job to enforce the law. But having kids of my own and being a father of my own, I do think that these kids should be able to have a celebratory event without losing their life.
Yeah.
And so the purpose of this is to examine the occurrence of gun violence at these events and its implications here. Okay. All right. So let me get my reading specs on here so I can see. Okay, the scope focuses on 2024, 25 across the U.S. As you can see now, this chart, this chart is saying that guns remain a leading cause of death for children and teens ages 1 through 19. 1 through 19 from 2013 to 2022. You see an increase of approximately 87% from 2023 to 2022. Okay, so you know the numbers are going up, guys. The numbers are going
that's
up.
2013 to 2022.
Right, 2013, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 21, 2. Okay, so from 9 years, and then it's went up 87%.
Yeah.
Since 2013 to 2022.
Mm.
So gun
Thanks,
violence.
Lisa Triplett. We really appreciate it.
There's always a smart butt around when you need one, right?
Right.
You gotta love this kid. Okay, can you read the next one, DJ, or can you see it?
Yes, sir. Youth gun violence at graduation. Recent incidents overview. Incident number 1, Houston, Texas, 2024. The details. 2 teenagers were killed and 4 others injured during a shooting at a pop-up party.
Now, the pop-up parties are just now. That's not, for my understanding, because I don't go to a lot of them. But to my understanding, a pop-up party is where they just hit a parking lot and they just start partying. You know, they just circle cars around. They break out the gin and juice or whatever, smoke a little peyote, and you're just partying at a pop-up party. And as you can see, things like this, you know, 2 teenagers was killed in 2024 in Houston, Texas. Now, this is a recent incident, actually, also. Okay, so again, we're talking about, you know, we've got to do something. We've got to do something better than what we've been doing with our youth, because I believe that youth is the main issues of what we're dealing with here.
But Lick Trace asks a question. But why cops always shooting students? That's not always the case. There's a 50-50 between all cops. We can't say why other people do that. There are bad apples. There are good ones too, you know. Let's discuss it perfectly.
Let's see. Where's Latrice at? I don't see her.
Go to your comments and you'll see.
Can you bring her up?
I can't bring it up on my end. Yeah, I can't do it on my end.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, Latrice. Let me see. Is she down there? I want to bring her up. Oh, I see. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I don't see her. I see.
All right, go to chats and you'll see the thing. Just click on the name and it'll bring up their comments.
Yeah, I see. I see Aziz. Hey, okay. Let me go down here. See. Oh, Latrice, I see.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Well, why cops always shooting students? Well, let me tell you this here. I want to speak on that for just a second. That's a legitimate question that she's asking. We talked about this last week about arming the police on minor situations when it comes to youth and stuff like that. You got to think, Latrice, a lot of cops are not trained in the social ramification of dealing with juveniles. Like you may have a guidance counselor or a principal or something like that. So when we're talking about interjecting police where police shouldn't even be interjected at, when you're talking about dealing with youth and stuff like that, I'm talking about in school and stuff like that, that could be an issue. Now, if we're talking about these teenagers who we already know, Latrice, they're carrying guns, fully loaded magazines with extra extended clips in them, like the kid that happened in Ohio.
The automatic.
Okay, so you know it's not always the cops, because I can tell you now, I'm not being fit for a toe tag over no foolishness. You know, the last thing I want to do is take a life. The last thing I think any cop wants to do is take a life. But at the same token, I don't want to give my life neither. And these kids are so out of control right now
That they
that
don't even care about their own life.
they don't care about their life. You're right. Your life. They'll do a drive-by while your kid's in the car, you're in the store getting potato chips. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care.
So,
Yeah, they don't care.
yeah, when I see that, it's one of those things to where you're right. Yeah, we don't listen. If it's a justifiable shooting, and I've always said from day one, right is right and wrong is wrong. If an officer shoots and kills anybody, black, white, Spanish, Latino, whatever, and they're unarmed, there are no more whoops, my bad. To jail you go. Right? If that kid, like for example, we talked about the Ohio situation in Cincinnati, Ohio, where this kid stole a car out of Kentucky, was in a stolen car, ran from the police, okay, had a loaded gun with him with extended magazines and a clip, however you want to say it. Someone corrected me on that. It ain't a magazine, it's a clip. Whatever you want, it'll all kill you. Right? Yeah. And you're running from the police, you're wrong. There's no two ways about it. You're wrong. And us as a community have got to be able to say that it is a shame that that kid got killed like that. And he forced the police to kill him because that's exactly what it was. Look, nobody told you to steal a car. No one told you to run from the police. No one told you to have a loaded gun on you or a gun on you, period. I don't care whether it's loaded or not. A gun on you, period. There was 5 youth in the car. Okay? Or was it 4 youth? 4 or 5 youth? I think it was I think it was 5. Was it 5 or 4?
I think it was. Yeah.
He was the only one who got shot and killed because he was the only one who had a dang on gun. So
let me ask you a question.
No, go ahead.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, if guns were harder to fire, I think a lot of people would be hesitant to commit a crime with a gun, especially knowing that they may have to go to 3 steps for that thing to fire versus 1 click.
Now, say again. Now, what'd you say now?
Me,
it's harder to fire a gun usually.
No, I said the fact that a gun is so easy to discharge a bullet makes it easier for criminals to want to commit crimes because they think they can get away with it. If guns were harder to fire, and that's just something that I was thinking about the last time we had this conversation on the air. It'll make people think twice about committing crimes or violent crimes with a gun because the other person might go to the 2 or 3 steps it takes to fire a gun.
Yeah.
The fact that guns are so easy to fire, and maybe if they made it more difficult to fire, it could deter a lot of things. It's just something
that could be bad for many other reasons. Like if that's for like the cops or even bystanders trying to protect their lives, that could be bad. So either way, it's just a 50-50 in my eyes.
Well, I think that would be interesting to see if we had some type of, like when you grab that gun and it has to register your fingerprint in even order to fire it, that may be something. But technology is coming around, so I know they got the ring on some of them where the gun won't fire if you don't have a certain ring on or something like that. I've seen those, but Muffy Blitz says, "I feel for those kids and parents." I do too. I've said it 100 times that if that was my son, I would be devastated. I would be furious. I would be angry I would be so upset I wouldn't know what to do. But I would be furious, angry, and mad at my son.
Truth.
Because he put us all in this situation. Okay? Valdosta, Georgia, 2024. 4 juveniles were injured during a shooting at a party. Again, the key word there keeps coming up: party, juvenile. Incident 3, Fitzgerald, Georgia, 2024. A 15-year-old opened fires at an after-prom party, killing another 15-year-old and wounding 3 others. So it ain't even like you're just it's just like these kids don't even care, and
they've lost all
Hey, Anim.
sensitivity
Welcome to the channel.
towards human life.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
I was
DJ?
saying Anim. Welcome to the channel. Said hi. Hey, guys.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Oh,
Yeah. So you're right. It's like I don't know. We have to get these guns away from the kids, and I don't know how we do that. Okay, so let's dig into a little
data
bit.
on youth. Our statistical data on youth gun violence. Annual statistics: over 4,300 students and teens over ages 0 to 19 are shot and killed annually. More than 17,000 are shot and wounded each year.
Okay, so that's not. Hold. Let's take a quick break there. That ain't by the police.
Yes, usually by the bystanders, the kids or the adults.
Yeah, these numbers are not including the police. Over 4,300 children and teens age 0 to 19 are shot and killed annually, which I think now it may be higher than that. I really believe that it's higher than that. More than 17,000 are shot and wounded each year. But I'm almost guaranteeing you it's over 4,300 people. So sad about those kids it's really sad, but they're doing it to themselves. And us as parents, we've got to find a way to talk to our kids and to stop this. I mean, only thing I can tell you this here is how I did my kids. I gave my kids gun safety classes. All right. We went to the range. We were prepared, and DJ can tell you, did I not give you guys gun safety classes?
He did. We all did, yes.
And so, and I teach my kids that every fault is not meant to be fought. Every fight is not meant to be fought. Run away if you have to. Let them call you names. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? These are idiots. Just go, leave. Don't stand there and argue.
Again, it goes back to you taught your kids. It goes back to the teaching. If it doesn't happen in the schools from pre-K to graduation and high school, if it's not continuously hammered into their heads.
Okay, explain.
It can't be a one-off thing. Don't
explain,
do this.
Joy. What do you mean, but why?
Yeah, go ahead, David.
Oh, go ahead, David. I was just asking Joy, what's up? Like, but why what?
Yeah, but why what? Yeah, I want to know that.
Yeah, no, I was saying it has to be taught in schools.
But David, some teachers may
curriculum.
think that that's not their job to teach.
Then they don't have a job in the school system. If you want to be a teacher in the state of Georgia or New York or wherever, this is just like the teachers have to fulfill their expected curriculum, or whatever their mandate is, to become a teacher and to be employed by the Georgia education system. If you want to be a teacher in this state, you have to teach A, B, and C, which includes gun violence.
Georgia, I would like to know your question in detail. Yeah, let us know. Give me your question in detail. of what you're asking, because I'd love to answer it. I love answering your questions. Dave, getting back to you, I do believe that, let me see.
The cops really cause big problems. Like we said, that's not all cops.
Well, if you look at these numbers, listen, if you're looking at it from a statistical standpoint, the only reason why, because the news blows it up when a cop does something erroneous, right? It's all over the news, and it should be. Let me, Andres, let me get that perfectly understood. It should be all over the news. Everyone should know about it, not covering anything up. If a cop shoots an unarmed person or does something wrong or beats a person to death or something like that, it's a big deal, and it should be a big deal. The statistical data shows that that's few, far, and in between. Now, the only reason why it's so animated is because when it happens, it's all over the place. Does it make it right? No. I think everybody on the panel can agree with that, right? It does not make it right. But if you look at these staggering numbers of over 17,000 youth that's been shot, over 4,300 youth that's been killed, the numbers just sort of speaks for their self. So yes, absolutely, right. Some cops are big problems. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Those guys, we have a place for those guys, and it's called jail. Jail for the rest of your life. For the overwhelming number of good cops out here that's really doing the job every day, answering. If you think about, Andreas, as many 911 calls that happen in the United States of America every day, it's probably, I don't know how many thousands of 911 calls happens in a day, right? But it's an unimaginable number in the United States. And you think about the officer-involved shootings where they have to take a life, it's relatively small, a small number that's done erroneously. Now, I'm not saying that cops don't have to use lethal force. I'm not saying that, because we put them in a situation day in and day out where they have to make split-second decisions on whether to use force or not. What I'm saying is the amount of cops who use erroneous and bad force are very minute when you're talking about the skirmish of 911 calls that these guys have to answer on a daily basis. If I answer
Which
that
is
correct.
Yes, and hello, Bobcan. Welcome to the channel.
Okay, all right. Let's see. DJ, you read last. Okay, so gun violence trends. Gun violence is the leading cause of death for children and teens in the U.S. See, we just talked about that. Okay, hey, Bakan, we just talked about that. Not police officers. Police officers is not the leading cause of death for children and teenagers in the United States. No, it's gun violence. And who's using those gun violence? Other teenagers, other kids. It's just that simple.
Yep. No, it just has to be. It just has to be a teaching tool. I overemphasize it. I keep stressing it. But the more and more I look at both sides of the situation, even the cops have to have sensitivity, not training, but sensitivity, I guess, experience. Going, like we were talking about, going into the community and interacting with the community. They have to go into the schools sometimes and interact with the kids in school. It has to start.
Just somewhere.
Kids being small and growing up. It has to. There's no way to get around it, because somebody grows up, they have their own mindset as to how their life should be. And that may not have anything to do with your life or sparing your life.
Well,
it has
it does. It has to start with training. Bakan asked a good question. what does the government want to do about those cops who shoot those kids? Well, that's an open-ended question. Did the kid have a gun? Did the kid do a school shooting? Right? So you can't just say cops who shoot kids. There has to be pretext with something of, what exactly. So you should be asking the question, Bob Can, what does the government want to do about those cops who shoot unarmed kids or something like that? Because that's a specific question directed at a specific issue. Unarmed kids, right? I'll tell you what we're doing. We're throwing them in jail. We're taking away their livelihood, as we should be, right? So when you say shoot those kids, well, what are those kids doing? See, we got to think, these kids, all these kids are not just angels. Okay, these bullets don't care who they hit by. If you ever been to a gas station, grocery store,
doesn't have a name.
These bullets don't have names on them. So why this idiot kid is having an emotional breakdown and shooting up with another kid over drugs or over a girl or having an emotional breakdown or whatever, you got to look at that. And when the cops respond, what do you think's going to happen? You see what I'm saying? What do you think's going to happen? So the question should be unarmed kids or unjustified shooting, something like that.
True.
Okay. Majority victims. Did you already switch it, DJ? Okay.
Yeah, you just switched it. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the demographics real quick because I know we're over on our time. It goes so quick. I love doing this. Majority of the victims are between the ages of 15 and 19 years old. Ethnicity, disproportionate impact on Blacks and Hispanic communities. Gender is predominantly male victims. All right.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. These are the these are the things right here. That's what it is. Hey Joy, how you doing? Say hi to everybody. Okay. All right. Let's make it through this. Okay. Location increases across various states are higher occurrence in urban areas. Well, why do you think that is? Okay, here we go. Okay. So, people say, and Dave, maybe you can shed some light on this one here. Incidents reported across various states with higher occurrences in urban areas. Now, why do you think that is?
Read that question.
Demographics of victims. Yeah.
Tagline.
Location. Incidents reported across various states with a higher occurrence in the urban area.
I think it's just sometimes it's frustration, depending on the urban area. Because some people, they don't have what they would like to have in life. And here it is, they have a tool that could give them what they would love to have in life, vis-a-vis a gun or a knife or whatever, instrument they choose to use to, get over on someone else. So a lot of it is frustration. A lot of it is, their status in life. I think that has to be addressed so that everybody feels equal. You may not be equal in terms of what you have in your bank account or pocketbook, but you may be equal in just being a human being. I can be rich with cash, or I can be rich with knowledge, and I can get around a guy who have big bucks. I may not have it, but we get along because he wants to get rich with my knowledge, and I want to get rich with his cash. So we both, share and treat each other equally.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think a lot of it is how we look at others, how we treat other people.
That can play a big role, if you ask me.
Yeah, and when we're talking about inner city shootings versus suburb shootings, I think we really have to take a look at, and I'm sorry to say this, some of the the self-hate that's in the urban areas, and we talk about this crabs in the barrel. Everybody raise your hand if you heard crabs in the barrel, right? Everybody's heard crabs in the barrel. Dave, you heard crabs in the barrel. I ain't see that hand go up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ain't nobody getting out of this barrel.
But I think it's on a much serious note. And thank you, Lisa, my wife, for saying good show. She's watching everybody. Got to give her a shout out because she supports the show wholeheartedly, and she does a lot of behind the works things to keep the show going and stuff like that. So thank you, honey, so very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Lisa.
I'm very proud of you as a son.
Well, yeah, she's proud of me for something for once. So I think that, when you're looking at stuff like that, you got to look at the self-hatred that some of us feels for each other. I don't know why. I hope we can get rid of it. That it's easier to just kill one of us than to love us enough to say, you know what, you got it, and just walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And 9 out of 10 times, the person that they killed, they really didn't hate them. They hated something else in life, and took out the frustration on committing.
And I'm sorry to say this, I think it's a lot of things that they're putting in the drugs, the weed.
Yeah.
I know people don't want to hear that.
Yeah,
I know they don't want to hear that.
Man.
But the thing is, I think they're putting different chemicals in this stuff, and it's just driving them crazy. DJ, you want to read this one?
All right, sure. Common legal violations: unlawful possession of use of firearms by minors, failure to secure firearms leading to unauthorized access, and violation of curfew and event safety regulations.
Okay, so let's talk about number 2 for a second. Failure to secure firearms leading to unauthorized access. That's that parent who has a gun, leaves it unsecured. Your 13-year-old kid grabs that gun, goes out to a party, and shoots the place up. Who's responsible?
Children. The parents and children.
Yep.
Parents and children.
Parents. Yep. I think the parents.
Absolutely. You're responsible for the care, custody, control of that gun. If your child gets it and goes out here and does a crime or something like that, you're on the hook. You're on the hook. There's no two ways about it. You're on the hook. Okay, let's see here. 13. Legal I cannot read it. Implications.
Yeah,
legal implications and violations. Okay, case example, incidents. Shooting at a prom after party in Georgia. Legal outcome, 21-year-old man arrested and charged. First off, my first thinking when I seen this on the slide before is like, what is a 21-year-old doing at a prom party anyway? Sort of suspect for me, but anyway, it happened. It happened. Emotional impact on communities. Now, this is a big one. Emotional toll and grief and trauma experiences by families and peers. Each life that you take, okay, teenager, young adult, has a family member attached to it. Someone loved that person.
True.
Someone loved that cop. Someone loved that teenager. It has an emotional tie to it. All right. Community response, increased advocacy for gun control and youth safety. Listen, I want to see our community be just as upset when a teenager kills another teenager as when a cop kills a teenager or does something wrong or illegal. I want to see our community in just as much uprise and uproar for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way this gets better. You can't say, the police did it, but you have...
Can't always put it on the cops. Can't always do that.
Right. 200 other kids who have been shot and killed by the hands of other kids, and mum's the word. It can't happen. It can't continue.
All right.
Federal.
Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Legal framework and state laws, federal laws, Gun-Free School Zones Act, National Firearms Act, and state laws, variations in firearm possessions, age, and event security regulations.
Okay, so we have legal framework that's already in place.
Mm-hmm.
We have legal framework that's already in place. Thanks, Johnson Lee. Let me pull him up. A nice show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank
Wholeheartedly.
Thank you so much. You guys tell people about the channel and stuff like that. Legal framework example: Georgia firearms possession laws for minors. Gun violence affects more than just people who were physically injured or killed. 1/3 of Americans, adults, say that their fear of mass shootings prevent them from going out to certain events. My wife and I just went to a movie the other day, right? We went to go see The Accountant 2. It's a good movie. Go see it. That's all I'm going to tell you. I will tell you, though, the whole time I'm in the movie, Dave Simon, I'm looking for someone to come in there and shoot the place up. I'm not going to lie to you. I was scared to death. I'm like, I haven't been out in so long. I'm like, oh God, I hope no one comes in here and acts stupid. But thank God, everybody was really good. Most Americans are great people. We're peaceful people, but it's still in the back of my mind, even at a movie.
So you never know.
You never know. It's on you, DJ. We're almost through it. Can you see this, David? Can you see the slides or no? You can?
But can you? Yo, David, you can see the slides?
I think we may have lost him for a second. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think we might have lost him.
David ain't set that still for that long. Yeah, I figured he lost the connection. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Preventative? I think it says preventative. Preventative? Yeah, preventative measures.
Preventive measures.
All right, preventive measures and recommendations. Policy recommendations, stricter enforcement of firearms law for minors, mandatory security measures at youth events.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think that for these youth events where you have 250 kids at a party, out of control, hormone-driven teenagers at a party, you have to have some type of security presence there. If you don't have any security presence there, you're just asking for trouble.
100%. 100%.
Preventative measures and recommendations, community initiatives, youth engagement programs promoting nonviolence. We're starting to see a lot of that right now. That's what All Cops Ain't Bad is about. Youth prevention and programs to promote nonviolence. Parentship between schools, law enforcement, and the community organizations. Parents, quit being so offensive when someone tells you your kid done did something, because 9 out of 10, everybody just messing with your dang on kid. All right? Look at the whole situation and take appropriate actions first. Because if someone says something about my kids, I'm going to look at the whole measure before I just say, oh, my kid would have never done that. You don't know. Number 19, conclusion. Go ahead.
Our conclusion, summary, reiterate the prevalence. Sorry, English terrible. Reiterate the prevalence and impact of gun violence at youth celebrations. Call to action. Emphasize the need for collective efforts to ensure a safe environment for youth.
Right. So when you're talking about gun violence, folks, you've got to understand that we're talking about our youth. And 90%, 87, what was it? 87%. It
was 87, yeah.
87% of the people that we're talking about is our young adults that are committing these crimes. They're committing them with guns in their hands, fully loaded, either rifles, machine guns, or handguns. They will all kill you just the same. We got to get better, people. We got to get better. We're coming to another end of the show. And as always, like I said, my contact information is at the bottom of the screen. Some of you do email me and let me know your honest opinions. I appreciate it so much. Sometimes it's not what I want to hear, but it is the honest opinion, and I will respect that. We don't always have to get along, and we don't always have to agree, but we do have to respect each other, and I will always respect you. I will always stay the course with you, and we can agree to disagree on some things. We don't have to agree on everything, but at the end of the day, I'm going to love and respect your opinion, and I'm going to bring Dave back on before we get off of here.
Yes, sir.
Dave, I'm sorry we lost you there,
sorry about that.
That's all right. We were just shutting down the show, but you know, I'll give each of you, 30 seconds to go through and just sort of give, a shout out, how to contact you and stuff like that. So DJ, we'll start with you.
Okay, hey, I am DJ. I am Daryll's son, the son of Daryll and Lisa Triplett that was on the live. Y'all know how to get a contact of me. I'm usually the behind the man guy, the host that comments whenever I see your stuff there. And that's really about it. I love you guys. Thanks for being here.
All right.
I'm David Simon. DJ is the one that usually keeps us grounded, down to earth. So we love him for that. Thank you, DJ.
No problem.
You can get in contact with me at allcopsaintbad.org. That's our nonprofit organization that I'm affiliated with, as well as, joining Daryll from time to time on Ask a Cop Live.
Well,
and don't forget about the event that we're having in, I think it's September.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're having our Guardians Ball, which is a black tie event taking place in September. September 24th, if I'm not mistaken.
28th, September 28th.
Sorry. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing a lot of folks out there. We would love your support. All Cops in Bad organization, our nonprofit, we're doing a lot of things in the community. We're trying to help to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the community, because what I've found and what we've found is that there is a disconnect, because, as I said before, some in the community feel as though they are not being viewed or looked at or treated with the respect that they would like, regardless of their economic condition. And so, as law enforcement people, I'm not a cop, but my buddy Daryll is. Some of my buddies are. We get along very well, and so I get to see things from their perspective, and they see things from my perspective or other people that we encounter, because we're all human beings. Sorry, my 30 seconds is up. I would have taken over your show. That was my audition.
That was your audition. Okay.
Oh, you are good. You're good.
You're pretty good, Dave. I'm going to tell you that one right now. Okay, guys. Well, hey, this is, I appreciate you guys coming on. If you guys stay on, I'll get with you guys on the back end in just a second here. So, folks, what I want to tell you guys, as usual, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in to the AskACop.live show. It's very, very, very important that each one teaches one, and it's very important that we bring you the truth up close and personal each and every Thursday at 8:00 p.m. I'm your boy, Daryll Triplett, and until next Thursday at 8:00 p.m., I want you to take care of yourself. Tell someone you love them, give them a hug, and let them know that your boy, Daryll Triplett, aka Officer Keep It Real, cares about you. Till next Thursday, 8:00. Hello, everyone. It's Daryll Triplett with All Cops Ain't Bad. I just want to take a moment to thank each of you for your continued support. Whether you're tuning into our podcast or attending our events or making a donation, you are making a difference in the mission of All Cops Ain't Bad. So thank you for being with us. Let's keep pushing forward, bridging people together, and continuing this important work. Together, we're stronger.